Okay, I'm gonna start this video out by saying you guys are wild. I have sent that seed starting schedule to easily 300 of you, which just honestly makes me so happy that that's 300 people on average, because I can't count and I might be hyperbolizing. I don't think I am though, that are gonna try to grow their own food this year. A lot of these are people that have been gardening. Some are new gardeners that have never gardened before. They don't know where to start. I would say seed starting and the dates of seed starting was the most confusing thing to me when I started gardening 5 years ago. So to be able to help out and provide that resource to you guys has made me ecstatic. Anyways, let's do a little update. It's the 28th of January, okay? So my onions, my leeks, my celery have been in my greenhouse for about 4 days. 3 or 4 days, so none of them have come up yet. So those usually will take about 7 to 14 days. Celery will take sometimes 21 days. So I don't expect to see those come up for at least another week. My sweet potatoes are in soil, covered in saran wrap under a grow light, trying to get those to root so I can grow my own slips this year. But now we need to start to talk about what we're gonna be starting in February. February is a busy month for us ladies, okay? If you have that spreadsheet, you see that there's 2 different things and 2 different dates I'm starting in February. There is my spring vegetables, or my brassicas. So my broccoli, my cauliflower, my cabbage, and then I don't do Brussels sprouts in the spring. I only do those in the fall. That I'm starting on February 6th, okay? 2 weeks later, which is 10 weeks from my actual plant out date. So this is where it can get a little confusing. So I start my brassicas on February 6th. I put them in my garden around March 15th. That is 1 month before my average last frost. They will be in my greenhouse for about 6 weeks, and then I'll put them outside before I put any summer vegetables. 2 weeks later, I will start the rest of my 10-week stuff, but those are staying in the greenhouse until I put them outside, typically around May 1st. I was a little rebellious, and I put them out the 2nd week of April. Thankfully, we had a good spring, nothing died, plus the plants were very strong and large. That helps, and I had been hardening them off. So, but if you want to be safe, I would say wait till around Mother's Day. That's typically the rule of thumb, but I just like to be a rebel sometimes, so whatever. You don't have to listen to me, do whatever you want. So we're just going to quickly go over the things we're starting. I'm going to rapid fire the varieties. This might be a little bit of a longer video because it has everything. Not everything. It has a lot of stuff. February and April are going to be the 2 biggest seed starting times for me. So February, we're doing all of our herbs. I'm not going to go through every variety, but herbs are very small seeds. They take a little bit, they take a little bit to get nice and big and strong. I'm a big proponent. I'm a big supporter of putting strong plants outside, because if things happen, if it's not super nice weather, they have less likelihood to die if they're strong. These will go out either the 2nd week of April or May 1st, just depending how the weather is. They're gonna be nice, big, strong plants or starts that you would get from the nursery, okay? I don't want small plants going outside. So I'm doing a variety of dill, parsley, some basil, like 2 varieties of basil, some rosemary, sage, thyme, lemon balm, catnip, because my cats freaking love this shit. Put it in your dehydrator and then just sprinkle it on their cat tree. And chamomile. So nothing fancy. That's honestly, herbs are kind of boring to me, so I'm not going to go through all the varieties. Another thing I'm starting on February 20th is my first succession of all of my lettuces and kales. I will do a succession of a few varieties every 2 to 3 weeks. That way I can have a continual harvest. And then in the dead of summer, I take like a month break, and then I'll start again in the fall. Some varieties can hold up in the heat, but the only variety I've actually found that still kind of grows in the heat of our summer is this variety called Red Iceberg. Those are really huge iceberg lettuces I'm always like posing with. Those ones are awesome. I got those seeds from Territorial Seed Company. So I'm doing a variety of mustard, collard, greens, pak choi, a couple different varieties of kale, and a bunch of different types of lettuce. I have my favorites of lettuce. My favorite is obviously the Red Iceberg because they're huge. They're very heat tolerant. It's from a company that's based in Oregon. So their varieties are they're tested on their farm there. They can withstand our climate very well. We do actually get pretty hot summers, not humid summers, but just hot, especially in, August, September. I love the Vivian. I love the Vivian Romaine from Botanical Interest, and then the Crisp Mint from Rare Seeds or Baker's Creek. You can call it either name. Another thing we're starting on February 20th is all of my peppers. And if you're doing eggplants, start them on the same day. I don't really like eggplants. Last year I grew a bunch and I didn't even eat any of them. So I don't think I'm gonna grow them because there's no point in growing something you're not gonna eat. I grew so many different varieties last year. I'm focusing on what I use the most of. So I grew a lot of cayenne and paprikas last year, and I did dry them and I made them into a powder. Awesome, haha, cool. But honestly, you have to grow a lot to get a lot, and I still haven't gone through the jar I have. So I don't even think I'm going to be growing those this year. That's kind of, I think I'm leaning towards that. What I use the most is any type of bell pepper or poblano or Anaheim pepper, peppers that you can put in chili, or peppers that you can put in anything you're cooking. I'm not good at explaining this, I don't think. I canned a lot of peppers. I use those at least once or twice a week. I froze a lot of peppers, and then I'm growing a lot of peppers that I pickle because I love pickled peppers. I'm a freak when it comes to pickled peppers. So I'm growing a lot of bananas, like Thai red chili, Tabasco, Italian peppercini, Cubanelle, and the rest are just like bell peppers, okay? I can make a video going over every variety, but that would take like a long time, so I'm not doing that in this video. Another thing I'm starting on February 20th is I'm starting some dahlia seeds. So you can buy dahlia tubers, okay? Those have already gone through a life cycle. I just got a variety pack. I'm just gonna try it. I've done tubers, I've never done seeds. So we're gonna try that. I'm doing all of my snapdragons on February 20th. Those are small seeds. They take a long time. Plus you can put them out if they're ready, kind of like early April. Like they're a cool weather flower. Still kind of bloom throughout the summer, but they will bloom really good in the spring and then they'll get another wave in the fall. I mean, at least that's what's happened to my snapdragons this past year. And then the brassicas, I kind of just did this backwards. Brassicas will be on February 6th. So sorry. I'm growing a bunch of different types of broccoli. I will try to grow a lot to get me till my fall harvest. That's usually the goal with spring and fall vegetables because you can grow the same ones. So with cabbage, I try to grow enough to get me to fall. With broccoli and cauliflower, I try to grow enough to freeze to get me to fall. The same thing with sugar snap peas, the same thing with kale and lettuce. Obviously, you know, you can't preserve lettuce, you just eat it. You eat it when it's there. I'll update you guys when my onions come up, and we will be back to start our seeds on February 6th. Love you, bye!